Hello everyone, welcome to the series from Factor. So in this series, we are going to see how can we create web applications using Java. Okay. Now Java, we know it's a very popular high-level language. We know it have very a vast features. Okay, so it's architecture neutral, it's platform independent. It is used in creating many web applications, mobile applications. So all these applications, we know that Java is quite trending in IT industry. So it has a lot of applications also. So one of the applications is Java web applications. Okay, so web applications are something which most of the people we use it very extensively. Okay, so now how should we create that Java web application in Java? What are the concepts required there? What are the requirements required in this creating web application? We will see in this series. Now, so here it's a sample demo which we are going to create. So basically, we'll create a Java web application where we will see how the trigonometry functions will work. Okay. So suppose here you can see, so all the trigonometric functions are here. So we have worked with it a lot in our school and all. So what's the value of sine theta, cos theta, all these mathematical functions we have seen. Now that functions which we are seeing in maths, we will be implementing this in Java, a programming language, as an application. Okay. So here I've got all the functions. Suppose I want to find the value of sine 90. So here I will choose a function and here I'll enter some value. Suppose sine 90 I want to find. Okay. Now I have entered and then I click on calculate. It will return me the result. That value of sine 90 is nothing but 1. Okay. Similarly, I want to find any other value, maybe uh, tan of 0 if I find and click on calculate, it's nothing but 0 only. So same way, I can give any value and I can find the trigonometric values which are present. Okay. So for this creating this, so if you see, it's a Java application, I said, but it's designed. So it has some colors, borders and all. Okay. So after creating web application, we'll be simultaneously designing it using a CSS framework called BootStrap. Okay. So Bootstrap and having knowledge on Bootstrap is also required. Since we are creating web applications for people to use it, it should be user attractive also. That's where we'll also see some concept of front end also, how to use Bootstrap and all. Okay. So yeah, that's where we'll see this application. Now, before creating this application, we have a number of applications requirements to be done. Okay, so we need to install some things in order to create this. So let us first have a look on that. So first, let us see what are the project requirements which we need when we are creating a web application. So yeah. So first thing which we can see is an IDE. So IDE is nothing but integrated development environment. It's nothing but a software. Okay, so basically a software where we'll be coding our logic. Okay, so what should be the front end, what should be the business logic, all that where we will code. They need a software for that. That's nothing but an IDE. So we have got plenty of options which IDE we can use. Okay, so you can see Eclipse, IntelliJ, and it means we have variety of IDEs. So in our course, we'll be seeing through Eclipse. So that's our ID. And then next we need JDK. So obviously we are doing something using Java. So for Java, we need Java development kit. So this should be installed our computer. And then next is Apache Tomcat. So since we are going to implement a web application, it will be running on a browser. Okay, so client server communication will be there. So definitely in order to have that communication, we will need a server to that. So server which we'll be using here is Apache Tomcat server. Okay, so this we need to configure, we need to install it, which we'll see once we start our project. So yeah, this is the requirement. Now when we create our project, as I said, we'll having a front end and then we'll have some business logic. So suppose in my application, I'm giving a value, I'm giving a function, and this needs to be evaluated. Now, where should I write that logic in a Java application? So that's where a servlet comes into picture. Okay, servlet is nothing but the small Java programs which will be running on the server. So since it's an application, there will be client to server communication. Okay? So that communication and from where the business logic should be happening, all in Java will be writing it in servlet files. Okay, so as you can see, servlet receive and respond to request from web clients, usually across HTTP. So HTTP is nothing but the internet protocol, you can say, hypertext transfer protocol. So we'll be sending the request to the server that this particular function I have sent, you calculate this and you return the response. So that servlet is something which will contact with the server and will return us the result. Okay. So now the latest servlet which we are using is Jakarta servlet. Okay, which was formerly it was JavaX servlet, and now So because we are seeing with the advanced options, we'll be seeing Jakarta servlet. Okay. So yeah. So let us have a brief on how the servers actually work. First thing is we will be having a page, okay, suppose where we just now entered the angle and function, and now we'll be sending a request, okay. As soon as I click on submit button, it should go to server and it should give it a request that this value and the function is came, we calculate it, okay, as a request, and then send me a response for that. Okay. So this is what we are doing from web browser. We are sending a request to the web server. Now, web server, we have till now, we have not deployed our project. So web server doesn't know that actually. Now, in that case, what it will do, it will have something called web container or servlet container, which you can see here. So this is nothing but a container. So since the project which we will be creating is called dynamic web project, it's a dynamic request which is coming. So it will go to the servlet container. It will go and check for the servlets which are present here. It will search for here. If it is present, then yeah, it will send the request here. If the servlet is found, it will calculate, it will process the request, and then it will send the response to web server. From web server, we'll again get the request response to our web browser. So I got the value that sign of 90 is 1. So that's how it is working actually. So it is sending the request to web server. Now web server is searching for the values in its servlet container. So when we create a servlet, we will see how the servlet is created and all. And from servlet, it gets a response. And from that, server is sending us the response that, yeah, this is the value, you take it. Okay. So this is how a servlet works. So basically the business logic, all that which we want to calculate, any operation we want to do, that all logic will be written in servlet file. Okay. So before creating our web project, so first let us understand what should be the hierarchy of our project structure. So here you can see. So basically what we'll be creating is a dynamic web project. So here you can see, so suppose this is my project name. So in this you will have SRC. So this SRC is nothing but the source folder. Source folder contains all the servlet files. Okay, so if you go here, these are all the packages, hierarchy, and there will be my servlet.java. This is the servlet file which will hold my logic. What will be the processing logic? So all this will be stored in SRC, and then you will have a resources. So in SRC only, source folder only, you'll have the resources folder also, where you will see web app, okay, and web information. So here in this web init, you'll be having index.html, or you can have a JSP file. Here. JSP is nothing but Java server pages. So here this will be basically the welcome files. Okay, so what's the first page? It's just the text which you're displaying. There's not much of a processing there. So that's where this which you want to display. So HTML files, okay, just the front end. So that's in a web folder. Okay. Now here one more folder file you can see, web.xml. Now what is this XML? So if you go back here, so we said the web server will go and connect to the servlet container. Okay. Now there are multiple servlets present here. Which servlet it should go and it should check the logic there. Okay. That's where web.xml comes into picture. Web.xml is something which will store all the information. Okay, so what's the servlet which it should go to? Okay, so there are tags which we'll see in web.xml. There are servlet class and servlet mapping. Okay, so what should be the URL of that? Okay, so that's something which is mentioned in web.xml. So whenever we are sending the request and it doesn't find a server, it should go to the servlet container, and servlet container, which servlet it should see, that is from nothing but web.xml. So that's the way which we can see. Okay, so now next, these files are there. So pom.xml is something which will not require in this course, but if you are doing your project using Maven, then pom.xml is something which you will see. Okay, now these are the README files and all. Any description you want to add, that all you can add it here. So yeah, let's get started with the installation process then. So before starting, we will need, so first thing which we require is, so ID. So ID is Eclipse ID, so which is present here. So it will look something like this. And here we're gonna create our project. Okay. Now JDK is something which is already installed. Then next comes our servers. Okay, Apache Tomcat server we need. So let us see the process. How can we create that?
And here search for Apache Tomcat download. Okay, so here you can see this is the official website of a tomcat.apache.org. So click here and then we will see the what is the latest version. Okay, so on left side, if you see, you have all the versions listed here, Tomcat 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we'll go with Tomcat 10. Now here, if you see, so we have 10.1.16. So yeah, we have this one. And since we are going to install this in our web application, we'll need an installer of this. So here, if you see, this is 32-bit or 64-bit Windows Service Installer. So click on this and it will start installing the installer. So it is done installing now. Now click on this and it will start our installation process. Click on yes. And this shows us the setup of it. So click on next. And then, yeah, I agree. So click on agree. And here just select this host manager and examples and then click on next. And here, so what will be the port of your connector? So default is 8080. I'll go with this one. So I'll use this port only. Then click on next. So here it will detect the JDK which I have. So it is JDK 21. So if you don't have a JDK installed, then you probably need to download JDK at this step. Click on next and click on install. So it will start installing my Apache Tomcat server. Okay. So now click on finish, but I don't want the README file. So I'll uncheck this and I'll start the Apache Tomcat. Then click on finish. So it's actually starting the service of Apache Tomcat server. So now it is created. Let us get back to Eclipse ID. So here, before doing that, so we need to install the software. Okay, so then go to help here. Since we are creating a web application, so ID will be basically for Java application, but we want Java web application. So for that, we need to have a software. Go here, click on install new software. Here in this section, just open this menu. And the first option which you'll see is 2023 releases. Click on this. So it is fetching all the children which are present in this. So actually from this, we will be installing the package which we need for web application, which is nothing but Java Enterprise Edition. So let us wait for a while. Yeah, so here it loaded all the things which are there here, and go to last, and here you can see Web XML Java EE. So this is something which we will need for our things. So click on this and then click on next, and then it will start installing all the process. You can check the progress here. So once it is done, you need to reinstall the ID. Not reinstall, we need to restart the ID. So once it is done, then go here, you'll see an option called Open Perspective. So here, by default, it will be Java, but we want Java Enterprise Edition. So click here and then click on Open. Okay. So now this is done, setup is done. Then we need to create a folder. So now go to File and click on New. So for Java web application, we need to have a dynamic web project. So if this is not available in your ID by default, then don't worry, you can go to other section and then here you can type dynamic and you will get this dynamic web project. Select this, click on next. Okay, now it will ask to configure a web project. So what do I want the name of my project? So maybe I'll give demo. Okay, and then I need to take the runtime. So click on new runtime. So our Tomcat which we have installed is Tomcat version 10.1. Click on next, and then here, so mine is 10.16, and then I'll browse the directory where I have installed it. So it is present in C drive. in program files in Apache software. So select this one. It will ask me the permission. Click on continue. Again, click on yes. And then click on select folder. So now this is done. Click on my demo project. So now once this is done, then here you can see the next option. Just click on next. So yeah, click on next. And then just click on this generate web.xml. So why do we need this web.xml? We'll see in a while. So then click on finish. So our project is created now, demo. So if you see there's a deployment descriptor and all Java CSS and all. So first thing which we need while we create our web project is the main home page. Okay, so that will be a HTML page. Let us create that. Now right click on the project and then click on new. And then here you can see there will be a HTML file. Okay, so if it is again not present here, then you can go to other and then you can type HTML. So here it's available. I'll click here and then give a name. So maybe I'll give index.html. Then click on next. So click on finish. Now I got my index.html ready here. So this is the already predefined structure of HTML page. Now in this, what do I need to display? I'll give. So first thing is my title I need to change. I'll change the title to Trigonometry functions. And then in body also let me have a h1 tag which will say Trigonometry functions. Now let us try to run our server. Okay, so to run the server, let us first save this. Here you can right click in the file and then click on run as and click on run on server. This will start a Tomcat Apache server. So select the server and then click on next. So yeah, demo is configured, then click on finish. Demo is our project name. So it shows that it cannot start it. So one thing which we need to do here is, so let me open the console. Why we got this error? So we need to edit our server first. So here in servers tab, so if it is not available here, then we can go to this window, click on show view, and here in other you can type server, and this is the servers which you. So here in this section you will edit your server. So here I'll click on this. This is my server. It opens. So actually the ports are same here. So here I'll change it to 801. So if my port is already in use, then in that case, this problem occurs. So I'll change it to maybe 82. Click on save, and then let us try to run the server. Restart server. So yeah, my page is running now. I can see the text which I have written. Now, since we have written the text, let us create the form that we want. So we want a trigonometric functions. Okay, so let me create a form. So for that we need a form tag. Now inside this form tag we will have use of action attribute, and there will be a method add. Okay. Now why are we using this? We will see once we'll add other things. Okay. So first thing will be for an angle. So I'll type angle, and then for this angle I need to give an input tag. So maybe let me use BR tag, and I use input, and this will be a text type. So I just need the user to enter some number there, and then I'll give it a name of maybe angle. Okay, so this name will be used in our servlet, where using this way variable name will perform the actions on it. Now this is done. I have given my input tag. Now after this again I'll use a BR tag. Then comes my next label tag, where I'll be giving the functions. So what are the functions which we have? Now functions, we have given it as a drop down list. So in HTML my drop down list will be under select tag. So I'll type select, and here I'll give a name of, so here since we are taking a function, I'll give a name called func, and then in select tag I need to give all the options. So option 1 which will come is sign, okay, and the value which this will have is sign. Same way we need to provide it for all the other functions. Okay, so let me add it for cos. Option value is equal to cos, and then the value which will be displayed as cos. Same way we will add it for all the other functions. So let me just edit this part. So this value will be tan, next value which we give, and this will be cot, cotangent, and then next will be secant, and next we'll have cosecant. So make sure the value which you are displaying and the value attribute which you are giving are equal. So if you are giving the value, then it should be proper. So then after I give the label tag, I need to give a submit button. So when I click on this, it will go to servlet, and there all my business logic will happen. So that for that I have an input tag which will have the type as submit. Submit is something which will submit the form along with the information which we have entered in the form. Now for this I'll enter the value as maybe calculate. So it will calculate the trigonometric functions and it will return. Now this much we have coded our form. Now let us go and check, refresh. Now you see we got all this. So I got angle, I got function, and then I got the calculate. Now if I try to enter something, some 90 and sine value, calculate, nothing will happen because we have not specified any such thing till now. We have just coded how it should look in a HTML. So now this thing, maybe I'll add a BR tag here also. For now, so let me do this. It's taking a while. This is something which is done. Now I need to style it. So that styling we will do using BootStrap. So now how to include that BootStrap? So since it's a HTML page, I need to link this to BootStrap. So now let us go to BootStrap website. So website is getbootstrap.com. Now here there are multiple ways through which you can include BootStrap to your project. You can even install it using the command line, or you can even include it using CDN, or you can even download the BootStrap. But now I am gonna include the CDN only. So I'll copy this line. I'll go to my ID, and here I'll paste this line. So I have included the CSS for BootStrap. Similarly, the script tag also for BootStrap I'll add. Now script tag will be something added at last. So here I add my script tag. Now BootStrap is added. Now let us see by adding some class. So whenever you are using BootStrap, the styling will provide using the classes. Maybe let us take this trigonometric functions. I'll give it a class, and let us give a margin to this. So m by 3 and save it and check. Yeah, it is having those styles up there. Now let us style all this. So for all this, I'll take a div tag. So all this I'll put it in one section tag. Section or div tag, whichever you prefer. So now inside this, all my code will go. So I have pasted. Let me clear the indentations. Now to this, so I'm using this because I want a border to my whole block. So here I'll give a class I'll give it a container class. Okay, so since it should take that space and it should have the padding, and so I want it in center. So to make that section in center, I'll first make it as flex, and then I'll give it something like justify content center. Let us save and check how is it looking. Yeah, it got in center, but still we have to do many things which are left now. So let us get back. Yeah, one more thing is that because we are giving flex, all these elements will come again side by side. So again, I need to have a pin container that I will take div here, so, and all of this will be inside this. So flex is something which will take all the elements and it will display side by side. But I want all this same ways only. Just for content center, I'm using this flex property. Now here there is only one div flex. So all those elements will not be on side by side. It will be only on one line. So let me wait. So let us continue styling. Now this came in center, but on y-axis I want in center. So maybe with style attribute I'll do that. So I'll use transform property and translate y. I will give maybe 35%, 33%. Let us try. So I'll give this, and to this div I will give border. So I want a border, slight border. So border secondary I'll give. Secondary is nothing but gray color. And so inside my box, I need some padding. So px5 I'll give, and maybe on y-axis I'll give 3, and just making itself rounded, and I'll give it a shadow. Let us check now. Yeah, it's added now. So instead of secondary, let me try primary. I want a blue color border. So yeah, that is apply now. Now this rounded and all, and shadow is also generated. Okay, now let's come to our labels. So label, I have this angle, I'll change it to blue color. So I'll give text primary. This will be in blue color. Then next is input tag. Maybe I'll have some padding to this. So I'll give a class, and it should have a padding P2. And then, so width, I'm giving it 100%. So inside the div tag, it should take the whole width which is getting. So for that, first I need to give it D block, because input tags are by default inline level elements. First I can change it to block level elements, and then it can take 100% of width. The same way for function also, I'll add the same class which we added here. Now next, to select name. This also I want it same like this input tag. Here I'll give it, so it should take the whole 100%. And then now comes the submit button. So here I'll provide some style. So give a class tag, and here, so again same thing I'll do. This will be block, and it should take whole width with 100. And I'll make the edges a little rounded. And a color I'll give BG primary. So when the background is dark, I need my color in text white. Give that, and some padding P2 I'll give, and button will have a border by default. So I'll give border none. Let's try how our page is looking now. So yeah, it looks more like how we did that. Now border none is, instead of none, I'll give it 0. So our page is created now. After this also I want to leave some, so MB of 4 I'll give maybe. Yeah, I'll give this. So now if I try to enter end sign and I give some value, because now if I click on calculate, it should give me the result. Now where to write that logic? So that comes a part of your servlet files. Now what are the servlets? This here.
Yeah, this one. So Apache Tomcat server, we have installed now. How to do that? Then next comes the Java servlets and JSP. Okay, now what are these? Okay. So this is something which will hold the business logic of our application. So whatever application we are doing, this trigonometric application where we'll be entering the angle and then function. So how to calculate that on that all logic will be written in a servlet file. Now what is this servlet basically? So let me, yeah. So if you see here, everything which we interact on internet, okay, so it's nothing but based on a client and server. So we being a client, what we do, we'll search what is abstraction in Java. Okay, that's a request we are sending to the server. The server will check where, will find the results for that, and it will send us the response for that. Now something which we are doing now in our applications, we want to write our business logic. Okay, so suppose that file name is a trigonometry servlet file. Now that server doesn't know where that file resides. Okay, so in that case, this when the server doesn't know, so in this they'll have a separate web container or a servlet container. So since it's a dynamic, so if you remember when we created it as a dynamic web project, it's a dynamic request. So when it goes, it will go and check in the servlet container, and it will ask this. So we have created web.xml, the deployment descriptor, if you remember. So in here, in web app, we'll find in web.nl, we'll find this web.xml. So this is nothing but the deployment descriptor. It stores the information. So servlet is that and all. It will store that information. So this is nothing but it will tell the server that this is a servlet file. You keep the logic, you run that logic, and then you return the response for it. So that's where we write the logic in our servlet. Okay, so first thing we need is create a servlet file. So get to our project, it is demo, then right click, go to new, and here I don't see servlet file. Let us go to other and type servlet. Okay, so here you can see a servlet. So this will create a servlet file. Click on next. Give a name, or you want a package, give a package also. So maybe I'll write the package as com.package, and I'll class name as trig servlet. Okay, just the short form of that. Okay. Now I have given that. So package is not a valid identifier. So I've changed the package name. Click on next, then click on next. So here these are the methods which will by default use. So we do get into post methods. These are nothing but the HTTP response through which the server will return as a response. So I'll go do get. So I'll uncheck this and then click on finish. So it is taking a while. Yeah. So my trig servlet file is created. This is a servlet file, and here these files will not be by default imported. You need to include the servlet API. Now, where is that servlet API present? So right click on your project. Okay, so let me remove, or let me just comment this for now. Now right click and check the build path. Go to configure build path. And here, take the class path, click on add external jars. So if you remember, we have downloaded the Tomcat Apache server, so which was present in C drive in program files in this. So go to library, in this is a library, and if you scroll, you will find this file, servlet-API. Click on open and click on apply and close. So this is something which will give us all these files, and if I uncomment this, there will be no such error for that. Okay. Now, servlet exception and all. So when we are using this request response and all, it might not accept our request. It will throw an exception. So in that case, when we'll use this throw servlet exception and all. So now all these are present in this Jakarta servlet file, and these all will be imported from our servlet API file, which we just imported. Okay. Now let us start coding. Okay. So now we know whatever we enter here will go to this servlet file, and our logic will get implemented. So now, so this file doesn't know which file should it go to implement the logic. Okay. So that's where the action attribute comes into picture. So this is something you will provide the trig servlet. Okay. So now, for now, we are not using any URL annotation. So let us go with the file name directly. So I'll give trig servlet and method. Then what is this method? So if you see here, the method which we are using is do get method. Okay. The method will be here get. So here get, or if you're using do post method, type post here in this. Now, whenever I submit this, it will go to the strict servlet file, and whatever implementation is present in servlet file will be returned. So let me save this and let us add the logic here. So first thing is this, you can comment it for now, or let me keep it. Then we'll see the output how it comes, and then so for now I'll create a print writer element since we'll be printing most of the lines now. We'll use Bootstrap anyway. So print writer object I'll create. So name I'll give is print writer out, and from response we'll get the get writer method. Okay. Now we got this, but it shows some error because we need to import it. Now just hover on it, and Eclipse is an ID which will help you import all the statements. If you see now, this IO exception is sorry, IO.printWriter is imported now. Previously it was not. So now we created this. Now we whatever we are getting from here. So what inputs we are getting? We are getting one input tag which is angle, and second input tag which is from dropdown which is func. Okay, so we need to take this here. So let me create the variables. So I'll create string. So I'll give it name of angle equal to. So when we want to do this, we'll use it request.getParameter method. Get parameter. What is the parameter name? From where are we getting this angle? So if you go and check in this input tag, you're entering the angle and the name value. Okay, so this name attribute is having the value angle. So here also we'll give the same value angle. Oh, okay. Or if you get the confusion, let me type it as angle str. Okay, and it is semicolon. Now next, okay, this should be in quotes actually. Now we get the angle. Next thing which you are getting is a function. So same thing, I'll take it in a func variable and request dot get parameter. This is in a func variable. So name attribute which I gave, the value was func there. So this way I have taken both the values. But if you see the angle value which we get, we are storing it in a string variable. Okay? But that is some value, that is a number. So I'll enter sign 90, 80 like that, 180 like that. These are numbers actually. So this string I need to parse it into the double or integer. So I'll pass it to double. Okay. So for parsing, I'll use double variable, and I need to give a name here. Maybe I'll give angle this time, and here using double dot parse, so it will pass into the double value. This angle str will pass. So yeah, this is done. And then so we need to declare a variable for result also. So once we calculate what is sine 90, we need to store it in a variable. Okay, or you can print it directly also, but I'll prefer a variable. So double, and it will be a result. So for now I am giving it 0. Okay, that is defined. Now comes our logic. Okay, so what will be our logic? First thing is that we need to check what is the function. So if function is sine, then we will take the value which is present in this angle after passing, and then we'll calculate it. Okay, let me write that. So if what is the variable name in which func is stored? That is func. Func. Now we need to check whether they are equal or not. Okay. Now since it's a string in Java, we don't use the double equal to operator. We need to use dot. So dot equal. Sorry, we need to use equals method. So dot equals. Now which one it should be equal? So if my function variable is equal to sine, then in that case I'll take some action. Okay. So here I'll provide sine. So if the function is sine, then in that case, my result value will store the value of math.sine. Okay. Now how to calculate the sine value? So in Java, we have a math module. Okay. So take that math dot, what is the function we want? We want sine. So you can see here, which is provided. And then in brackets, we will provide the angle. Okay. So like this. Okay. Now let us once check how is it working now. So I'll refresh. So for now, I'll enter sine only. Let me check. Oh, it shows some error. Demo. Okay, it's from demo, so I need to give this. Yeah, it gets rendered now. So my path is correct. So let me try to check the value. So for now, we have just returned for sign. Let me print it. So since we are returning it on browser, it will be from print writer, and the value is the result I want to be printed. Save. Let's refresh. Yeah, we get the value 189. But actually, if we see sin 90 value is 1 actually. So for that, we don't want this. What we will do is we'll hold the number. So for that, we have a function math dot radians, math to radians, and then here I'll provide the angle value. So save this and check. So it's taking time, I guess. Did I save? Yeah. Yeah, the value is 1 now. So that way I'll get. So same thing as we have written for sine, let us write for other functions. So I'll remove this print statement now. I don't want it to be printed. Now next will be the else if statement. Else if the function is equal to cos, then in that case I want my result value to be math.cos, and it will be math.2 radians, same like how we did for cos. Same thing, let us do it all for tan. So if function is tan, because that's the value which we have provided, then it will be tan in this case. And next else if next function will be secant. But if we see secant is not something, so trigonometric forms. Oh, I'm missing the semicolon, I guess. Yeah, yeah, that's where it was showing the error. Yeah. So secant is something, there's a formula. So secant is equals to 1 by cos. Okay. So one, whatever the value which we are getting with cos, we can just give the inverse of it. So 1 by what is the value which is it is coming from cos, that is nothing but the secant value. Same way, so I want now cot. So cot is nothing but inverse of tan. Okay. So I will give 1 by, and now this will not be cos, this will be tan. Same way, then next else if, or let me just copy. So if the function is cosecant, cosecant is the inverse of sine. So here I'll give sine. Now if all this condition fails, then in that case I'll print the statement that else. I'll just print out a statement, the out.println. Please select a proper function. Okay, if in case we didn't specify. Okay, so again semicolon here. So that's where my logic is. So whatever value we are getting based on the function, we will calculate it. Now I need to return this result. Okay, so after this, all this logic, I'll write a print statement here. So this will be with out.println. Here I'll do out.println. Maybe I'll write it in a h1 tag. So I want h1 tag because I will give some styling to this. So for now, let us keep h1 because we have not included bootstrap file in our servlet. So I will print the result of. So I want the function also to be printed. So I will write plus. So function is given in func variable, and then of. So I will here give. So I need the space also func of. And then here I'll provide the angle. And then again, so this is nothing but the concatenation. So again space, and here at last I'll print the result which I am getting. So next comes the semicolon. So there is some error actually. Create local variable h1. Did we miss anything? Yeah, Here I need to give the colon. Okay, we didn't declare it as HTML files actually. So we need to give that styling and all. So all this we will give it in. So after the logic itself, let us give it here. So out dot println. So first tag in a HTML page will be doc type HTML. We'll take it from here because we already have given this one. Then next will be out dot println. This will be a HTML tag. Then next comes a body tag. So I need a head title tag also. For that I need to have head tag. So for now let me just copy. This will be head tag. And then inside this I'll have a title tag which will tell a result, and this will be title. So after my title is done, I need to have the closing tag of head tag. So this way I'll provide all this. And then since this is all will come under body. So my next tag will be starting of body tag, ending of body tag will be after this. So same I'll copy actually. Here let me print. This will be closing tag. So hyphen body, dash body, and then closing tag of HTML. So next, whatever we are trying, we'll try to do this. Okay, it throws an error. So let's do an exception. Okay, H1 is not taking this. So there's some syntax error. Let me check the result. It actually has all the tags. I missed the plus here for concatenation. Save and let me refresh. I'll start from here. I'll give sign of 90 maybe. Calculate and returns me the value. The result of sign is sign of 1. Okay. Similarly, let us try with some other function. So this time I'll take tan of maybe 180. So I get this is the value of tan of 80. Now to style this, again, we can use some bootstrap functions. So here I'll take a div tag, same like this. Now this will be a div tag. To this div tag, I'll provide the style, same like how we have given in the form. So class attribute. Now here one thing which we need to mention that if I use double quotes, this will be considered and this will be remain absent. So to avoid that, we'll use single quote here. So class I'll give it as a deflex, and I want it in center. Justify center. I want it to have a border as well, which will be primary. And what else can we add? I want it rounded and I want it shadow. Okay. And here I can give the style attribute as well, same like how we did for. So again here it will be also single quote transform. So I want translate of y, which will be 33%, which we already have tried. So I'm just taking the direct values from there. So this is done. I need a closing tag also for that. This will be closing of div tag. Oh, I'll have some padding also. Let us check how is it looking. Oh, did we flash too lot? Oh, did we miss anything? Closing. We have not added the bootstrap serial. So in out.print statement, I'll take this link tag that will be included here. So directly I'll leave it in under quotes and then it will be closed. Yeah, so same way we'll do it for script tag also. So here it will be out.println, and here inside this I will take this script tag which we have added here. So anything which we are doing for him and all, we'll give it in print statement. Same tag but inside the quotes. Now let me try. Yeah, it's showing now. So 150 I'll find, and this is the value which I'll get when I find the cost of 150. So this way you'll implement a Java web application. Okay, so let us once revisit the code. So what we did, we had a form. Okay, so this was a form which we started, and here is the action attribute, which is basically the servlet file, which will have all the business logic. What should we get with the data? And this is the method attribute, which will have get, post, and all. So what is the method actually? And then we had label tag. This was for angle, taking the angle value. Then next we had function. So which function, trigonometric functions we want, we kept it here, and then there was a submit button. And coming to servlet, so once we have given the file name here, so let me save. So comments are something which will not interrupt in the execution. So these are the important packages which we required. Okay. And then in do get method, we created a print writer statement. Okay, so basically to print whatever we want to be printed, so to print on a browser. We want whatever we want, we'll do, we have done with using this out statement only. So everywhere if you see out.println. So here we are taking the values or values from the form. So what are values which are getting? It is getting captured here. Now this is just passing. Here we are capturing in string. Then we need to pass it to double since it's a value. And here is the logic based on which function which you are doing. So if it's sine, do the math.sine method. If it's cos, do the math.cos method, and the other method. So here it's the bootstrap CDN link, and use all this, you can start. So this is how you'll implement a Java web application. Okay, so now that we have seen how to implement our project, let us have a quick brief on this abstract. Okay, so this abstract and documentation link will be attached to your YouTube video. Okay, so here you can see trigonometry function, a dynamic web project, practical implementation. So this is the title which we have defined. The process of this is to understand how a dynamic web application works in Java. Okay, so how can we use Java servlets and all? Okay, and using this, how we have implemented trigonometric functions and all. all that we have seen. Now in this, not just Java, we have seen the front end also. So that contain HTML, CSS, and Bootstrap, using which we made our website look a little user attractive. And then, so yeah, so here just a brief so that we also have an understanding. And then when we mention this in resume, so they'll also, so interviewer will also have an understanding that, yeah, this is all he has done, and he has this understanding of what trigonometric functions actually are. So here is a brief of what are all the trigonometric functions, sine, cosine, and all. So all these values are mentioned. And then, so we have utilized Java, servlets, and JSP and all. So this documentation is primarily designed for you to have an understanding, and also when you are going to explain your project to your interviewer, and when you set your placements. Okay, so this is actually very helpful for you. So what are all the things which are required? All these are mentioned here. Now how servlets work, this architecture and all, everything is mentioned. Okay, so JSP pages which we have seen, Bootstrap also we have seen, and then all the requirements which are there. So, so if you want to create your documentation, you can go through ChatGPT. Okay, so ChatGPT also will help you create very accurate data. Okay, so obviously we need to edit it according to our. So ChatGPT is not something which will understand the whole concept of your project. Okay, so we need to have it. Still, you can use tools like that to create your documentation and add value to your project. So obviously to enhance the value of your project. So all the methodology, how we created, so web-inf folder, what did we store in that? Okay, so where was our servlet, which methods we have used, all that is mentioned. Okay. So you can go through this, okay, how we have integrated servlets and all this is mentioned here. You can go through this. This is in the description box. Okay. So now let us see. So now once we create, so now we have implemented a Java web application, a basic application, but also it can add a very much value to our resume of much experience. Okay, so what can you add in your resume after creating this project? Okay, so Java servlets, JSP, Java servlet pages. Okay, all this we have seen. So how Java is working. Anyways, we are all servlets and all are written in Java language. We've seen that. And then how servlets work, how the business project works, JSP pages, all that we have seen. And Java EE. So Java EE is nothing but Java Enterprise Edition. This means nothing but the Java web application. So anybody who does Java, it's nothing but a program which they do, Java application. But this is something which we are dealing with, servers, servlets and all. This is your Java web application, nothing but Java Enterprise Edition. So this means you have some experience on some real-time project, and this will add a very much value to your resume also. And then next, so we have not just coded the functionality of it, but instead we have styled it also a little bit. So just to get an idea, so HTML, CSS we have seen, and the CSS properties to implement in a framework, we have used Bootstrap for that. So all these languages, all these technologies, you can mention in your resume. Okay, so yeah. So as you have seen, it is organized by the packet trip. Okay, so packet trip is nothing but it provides the quality job training and placement. So across the various colleges, we have learners here. So after giving them training, we provide quality placements to them. Okay, so after giving them training, we have a connection of 200 plus corporate clients which hire the placements, and over the years we have been placing more than around 4,000 students. Okay, so do subscribe our channel, recommend your friends so that they also get the experience to do real-time projects, get quality training, and then they also get placed. So obviously our mission is one, yeah, why are we studying? Our mission is to get placed, to get quality knowledge and all. So do share with your friends. And yeah, we'll meet in the next video.